Company officers and first-line incident commanders must be prepared for the big one. When the incident escalates into an event, how do you transition from managing resources for a couple of hours to managing resources for days or maybe even weeks? Retired Miami-Dade Fire Chief Dave Downey is here now highlighting the national multi-day events that started out as a simple routine call. Pleasure to have you with us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, this is very important to every fire department, regardless of size. How do you characterize the difference between an incident versus an event?
Well, I think you're not going to find a formal definition, but in my experience and over the years that I've seen these different things occur, I think really time defines it, and how long you're going to be engaged in the rescue and the operation is one of the defining factors of changing between an incident that we deal with every day to an event.
Can you lay out for us some of the most recent multi-day events that we've seen that have kind of garnered national headlines?
I think a lot of them have been weather related. The tornadoes that have devastated the Midwest and parts of the Northeast, the floods that we've seen, and even though it's not recent, I think even COVID kind of caught us off guard as thinking this is something that's going to be over shortly. And so these are occurring all the time and in every part of the nation.
So can you kind of set the stage for us? You get this simple, what should be a simple routine call, you get on site, you get on the scene. How do you determine, okay, this is actually going to become a multi-day event?
Well, as I said earlier, time is one of them, and also I think the complexity. Okay. Where is your help coming from? Do you have the depth of help? Because this is something that you're going to have to rotate resources in and out for days and even weeks to come. So looking at something that is not going to be resolved with what you have within your jurisdiction and in the time that you're accustomed to dealing with it.
What do you see are some of the biggest mistakes that departments make when it comes to trying to make that transition?
As firefighters, as fire officers, we're creatures of habit, and we look at incidents as what we typically see every day. And so we get caught in that mindset of whether it's a one-bedroom fire, so we're not ready for a whole house fire, or we're looking at it as just a weather event that turns out to devastate our entire city. So I think some of it is we just get caught up in what we're used to.
And so you're moderating a session or presenting at a session specifically about this. What are your three main takeaways?
I think the main takeaways is that first you have to recognize that you have something that is more complex than you're used to or that you've experienced before. I think secondly, you need to assemble a team, a cadre of people that can help you work through the incident, and you have to have depth, because if you're going to be working for days or weeks or even a month, you need to be able to rotate resources. And the last big thing is changing your mindset, realizing that almost taking that breath and settling into, the military calls it a battle rhythm. For us, we call it an operational period, but settling into the fact that this is going to go on for a while and mentally changing that in your own mind.
You've recently said the quote, "We are only as good as our last disaster." What do you mean by that, and how can departments kind of use that motto to build and improve?
Well, because the only thing we have to reflect on is what is our past. And so we look at the last incident, whether it was a flood or a weather event or a collapse or another type of disaster. And so we only reflect on those past experiences. What we need to be able to do is keep that open mind, be able to say, listen, I haven't experienced this before, and I need to look at the uniqueness of this incident and plan moving forward.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate all your insight today.
Thanks for having me.